All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks you for dialing in for tonight's IPO webinar. Here we have Premature Berhad, PMI, will be listed on ACE market on 26th of June. PMI are principally involved in the design, manufacture, assembly, delivery, and commission of filters for solid liquid filtration, provision of technical support services. The group also involved in the provision for technical support services such as after-sales support, replacement parts, and maintenance services, and provision of steelworks through the design and fabrication of steel-based equipment. Later on, our PMI management team will discuss it in detail. We're glad to honor to have here the company managing director, Mr. Wong. Hi, Mr. Wong.
Right.
And our executive director, Mrs. Wong. Hi, Mrs. Wong.
Oh.
And another executive director, Mr. Wong. Hi, Mr. Wong.
Hello.
And our CFO, Natalia Tan. Hi, Natalia. And our head of global operation, Darren Ko. Hi, Darren.
Hello. Hello.
All right, let's review for the corporate and project video before run through the presentation. Thank you.
Founded in 1987 during Malaysia's palm oil boom, PMI quickly became a trusted leader in providing solid liquid filtration solutions and is now one of the world's top manufacturers, renowned for quality and integrity. Built on strong German heritage and a legacy of nearly 4 decades of trusted business relationships, PMI technology is poised to lead the way, driving innovation and excellence into the future, delivering promises with leading-edge solutions. At the heart of PMI's dynamic operations, every promise made begins to be delivered. In these advanced production facilities, innovation meets high performance. Right from the very start, design and production teams work as one. We continuously expand the limits of our facilities and capabilities, delivering groundbreaking solutions that drive success for our customers all over the world. PMI seamlessly merges craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology for a flawless finish. Quality isn't just a standard, it's at the core of everything we do. It's in every detail, every innovation, and every solution we deliver. Our dedication to the greatest care is evident. We ensure maximum output and efficiency at every step for our customers. Our filters undergo a series of rigorous tests designed to guarantee durability, reliability, and optimal performance in daily operations. Finally, yet another world-class PMI filter is meticulously packed and shipped, ready to serve yet another satisfied customer. But it doesn't stop there. At PMI, earning trust is a long-term commitment. Our responsive after-sales team ensures customers always receive the attention and support they deserve. PMI technology is looking ahead to meet the challenges of the future, continually improving and upgrading production facilities to cater for new growth and new markets. Continually pioneering and providing effective solutions that will enhance productivity and filtration efficacy around the world. Delivering on its promises and earning the trust of its clients worldwide every day. Delivering promises with leading-edge solutions.
All right. Now we start for the presentation. Over to you, Darren.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you for spending your evening with us at today's investor presentation. So I am the Head of Global Operations at Pan Merchant Berhad, and we're also joined by our Managing Director, our Finance Director, our Sales Director, and our Chief Financial Officer. And in this investor presentation, we will share key information that you need to know about our company, our future plans, and our ACE Market IPO listing. So let's get started. First, let's look at Pan Merchant Berhad's key themes you should know as a potential investor. We are a homegrown engineering company positioned to scale up our operations and take on a total addressable global market size of 26 billion ringgit. We are Malaysia's largest homegrown solid liquid filtration solutions provider in terms of revenue. And we've been operating for nearly 4 decades. And with this long, stable operations, we've been able to establish a reputable trade name under PMI. Our presence is primarily in industries such as edible oils, sustainable fuel, and food processing. And we have ambitions to continue growing and deepening our stronghold in this area, but also expanding into other end user industries as well, which we will discuss in more detail later. We have extensive global reach, and we've actually expanded our offices in Malaysia, Singapore, Netherlands, and the US in order to support our customers all around the world. I think importantly, for you to take note that 80% of the group's, more than 80% of the group's revenue comes from export markets, and our share of the overall global solid liquid filtration industry is about 0.5%. And we have big plans to grow this and continue to deepen our relationships with our customers. Now, as a Malaysian business, we are competitive on a global scale and global markets. We sell complementary products, and a notable customer of ours is Alfa Laval, which we will also see other major customers a bit later. And then in terms of the European solutions providers that we predominantly compete with, these are notable names such as Andritz. And so we are well known both to Andritz and to customers who look between us to look for our filters. Now, it's important to note that we own our manufacturing facilities, and we have 3 manufacturing facilities in Ipoh, Berhad. And we look to ensure that our filters are always compliant and are recognized by international standards, as this is necessary for us to access those overseas markets. So yes, we are Malaysian as a company, but our product, our filtration solutions are very much global and recognized as such. Important for you to understand about our business model is that we have repeated revenue streams from our long-term customers that we've built very good relationships over the past 3 decades. And we'll see a lot more of that detail in this presentation, and you can also refer to the prospectus as well. These customers purchase both new and replacement filters for greenfield and also their existing refineries and projects. It's also important to note that our business has recurring revenue from technical support services. So this includes replacement parts and covering for wear and tear, maintenance support contracts to ensure that our filters are operating at optimal performance, and also technical upgrades as well, for where innovations may need to be upgraded into existing filters. This after sales and technical support services are actually a high margin business for us, and they contribute a meaningful percentage of our revenue, and we look forward to growing this area as well in the future. We have, over the past 38 years, a very large install base of filters, over thousands of filters, both in hermetics and in filter presses. So we look forward to taking advantage of this natural expansion for our business. Now, looking forward towards growth and strategically growing our offerings, we are undertaking product development to continue innovating and customizing our equipment so that it is suitable for end-user industries such as mining, water, and sustainable fuels. We've historically had sales of filters into these industries, and we're looking to further enhance our suitability for these kinds of customers. It's meaningful to note that of the global market size, which is 26 billion as of today, mining contributes about 22%. So there's a great opportunity for Pan Merchant Berhad to grow into this industry. And of this overall global market, it's projected to continue growing over the next few years at over 10% year on year. Now, the IPO proceeds, it's important to stress that the capital will be used to enhance our manufacturing facilities and are all being reinvested into the business. There is no repayment of loans, and actually you'll see that our financial position is healthy and stable. These IPO proceeds are an investment into our product development, our R&D, and our sales and marketing efforts so that we can continue to accelerate our growth and take advantage of our existing presence in Europe and US. And the valuation of our business is supported by our visionary leadership and the founders who you see in front of you today, who remain involved in the day-to-day operations of the business, yet also guide us strategically. Our valuation is also supported by our PMI trade name and how it's well known with our customers around the world, and the fact that we are growing in these strategic end-user industries, which takes advantage and helps us participate in these important global scaling trends, such as population growth, rising incomes and changing consumption trends, and also intensifying urbanization. So there's a lot of information here, but it's all very relevant to keep in mind. So let's have a quick look at Pan Merchant Berhad's corporate profile. And if you need more detailed information, it is very much available inside of our IPO prospectus. As you can see, we commenced business in 1987, and we now have over 300 employees. Our operational presence, where we have our own offices, PMI offices in Malaysia, Netherlands, United States, and Singapore, allows us to support our customers with responsive sales and also with proactively offering technical support services so that they're actually closer to the customer and their operations. Do take note of our core capabilities, which are very much end-to-end. We are not just a simple manufacturer. We own and design and customize our filters according to our customers' needs right at the beginning of any project. We manufacture our filters in-house with our own production expertise, assemble, deliver, and commission to a customer's site, and then also offer technical support services. So we're very much an end-to-end solutions provider, and we also bring to bear our process engineering knowledge to help ensure that the performance that the customer needs is delivered. You can see of these pictures on the right-hand side of our headquarters in Shah Alam, Kuala Lumpur, and also our manufacturing facilities in Ipoh, so in Jelapang and Lahad. For you to think of our business, I think it's most natural to think of three business divisions. So firstly, filtration solutions, covering our, again, end-to-end delivery for customers of filter presses and hermetic filters. We also have a steelworks division where we design and fabricate steel-based vessels and equipment. And these are often auxiliary equipment that we offer in combination with our filters as well to customers, so that we can expand what we offer to our customers to ensure that they are able to procure all the equipment they need for their project. And then lastly, the right-hand side, technical support services, as I discussed, is a recurring high-margin portion of our business. So this includes the after-sales report, replacement of spare parts, and covering wear and tear, and also maintenance service to ensure optimal performance on an ongoing basis. So you can see from this slide how our filters are used. And this is just from the context of the edible oil business, and primarily in palm oil and soybean oil. There are many different applications and use cases of our filters, so it's not possible to show all of them, but we wanted to share a few with you today. You can see our hermetic filters are used in the bleaching clay filtration and polishing filtration stages, and this allows us to remove impurities from that crude palm oil. And then at a later stage of processing, our filter presses are used in the fractionation process, so actually separating the solid and liquid fractions of the RBD palm oil. And this leads to outputs that you would be very familiar with in your day-to-day lives. So cooking oils, the brands that you'd see in the supermarket, and then also margarine and soaps from the stearine fraction. So these are very much the machinery, the filters, and the processes that are behind the scenes of the day-to-day products that you use in your everyday lives. For crude soybean oil, you can see that we also use hermetic filters for the winterization process, and that leads to a cleaner, more refined soybean oil that you would use for consumption. So you can see there are lots of different chemical process science that goes on behind this, and we wanted to share some of this information with you today. Now, there are many other end-user industries that we've historically sold our filters into, and you can see that from our results and from the way we talk about our projects. But important to note of these few industries. So, for example, sustainable fuel. So the production of biodiesel that you'd use for vehicles, and then hydrotreated vegetable oil for sustainable aviation fuel. They actually use our hermetic filters for pre-treatment processes. This again takes the waste oil and the used edible oil to remove those impurities and make it ready for further processing, so that you have that renewable source of fuel for those everyday activities that you would no doubt take part in. Our filters are also used in food processing, so sugarcane, cassava, rice, and others. And again, this is really taking advantage of the solid liquid filtration principles that our filters apply. And this enables you to consume white sugar, cassava starch, rice flour, mihun. Our filters very much used in the production of those ingredients and products that you eat today. And importantly, on the right-hand side, you can see potable water and wastewater. So our filter presses, again, are used in the filtration process to take raw water, so perhaps silty, muddy water from a river, and actually removing those large particles so that it's available and it can be used in further processing, so that it creates drinking water and also industrial water for reuse in industrial processes, whether that's cooling or for other inputs. So these are all industries that we have supplied in the past. We're currently working on projects for, and actually we're looking to deepen our involvement in the future. So this slide summarizes the key competencies that we have as a business, and you've seen them before. I think it's important to note that our executive directors and key senior management team are an important part of driving this business forward. Our directors are our founders, and they've been here since day one. And you'll see from the way that the IPO is structured, they are staying and are remaining committed to the longevity of the business and the direction of the business going forward. You'll see that from the use of proceeds. Now, important on this slide is to notice the many different certification bodies and certifications and standards that we comply to at an international level. So you can see ISO 9001, we're registered with SPAN in Malaysia. We have the CELO license to sell hermetic filters into China. And we also comply with ASME stamps to access oil and gas industries. So these are all very important and critical parts of compliance of our filters and capabilities, so that we can serve the customers we serve today and our future customers all around the world. I think I also want to highlight here, we have a significant in-house design and engineering team driving our product development and our innovation. This allows us to customize our filters to the needs of the specific project that a customer may have. This is really important, as our filters are not pulling off a shelf or taken out of a catalog. And very much this allows us to express our process engineering knowledge and really collaborate with the customer, which is why we've been able to develop these long-term relationships, numbering almost 30 years. And you can see in the bottom left, these are the name of some very significant customers of ours. Lipico, Desmet, Alfa Laval, Oil Tech, all have been working with us for nearly 30 years. And we have worked with them across those user industries you see on the right-hand side, and we've sold across the world. And I think key to note here is that we've strategically placed our PMI offices to support those customers more directly within their time zone. And I think that's an important part of how we have set up the right foundations for us to grow going forward. I think just to quickly come over the corporate structure, Hammerch and Berhad is the listing company. You see PMI and its subsidiaries are all majority owned by this listing co. And so that gives us robust operational control and also oversight of how those businesses and subsidiaries are run. As well, within our IPO prospectus, you can see that our board of directors is very experienced and is offering a lot of guidance as the business evolves into its next iteration. We're grateful for their support, and we look forward to their guidance in the future. So to quickly go over some of the financial information presented in the prospectus, you can see that our revenue has grown over the years from 2021 to 2024 at about 10% year on year. This has really been driven by our sustainable fuel projects and edible oil projects around the world, so including America, Europe, and Asia. And then you can see our business segments, particularly around technical support services, have started to increase in contribution to our overall top line, roughly at about 15% today. And we look forward to growing that continually in the future years because of that high margin revenue that it generates. As you can see, we have a strong base of operations and selling into the edible oil industry. And we're confident of our reputation and our ability to continue serving those customers. You can also see that our contribution from sustainable fuel and also water treatment projects is sizable. And we look forward to deepening those revenues from those segments as well. As you may be aware, Malaysia and other regional water projects are in the news and being talked about. And we look forward to being involved in those projects as those come online. Now, this just breaks down our revenue from a geographic perspective. And you can see that 80% of our business is in an export market, so overseas outside of Malaysia. Indonesia naturally is a large contributor to our revenue because of that foundation that the industry and established industry of palm oil in Indonesia. But you can see America represents up to 21% in some years, and Europe also represents a significant proportion. And what you'll see going forward is we hope to grow that contribution from America and Europe, and we are continuing to accelerate our efforts to capture orders and deliver projects in that area. Now, our profit margins have remained healthy over the years, and actually our GP margin, so gross profit, has actually increased to 35.5%. Our other margins have decreased slightly due to increased costs, such as hiring the right personnel to ensure that we have the right succession plans and we have the right key knowledge and expertise to actually grow the business for the next phase. And importantly, the listing expenses for this IPO exercise have been taken into account, have been recognized in our financials. So that's why we see that impact on our margins here. But if you normalize or if you adjust for those one-offs, actually you'll see that the business very much remains on target and stable. Speaking of stability, you can see that our financial position has a healthy balance sheet. The business has grown organically over the years, and our leadership have always prided themselves on a prudent approach to financial management. Our gearing ratio is low at 0.49 times. Our current ratio is healthy at 1.45 times. And actually our cash flow is also healthy, with our trade receivables at 77 days and our trade payables at 69 days. So the business is very much growing organically. There is no repayment of loans being used for the IPO proceeds, And actually, majority of our borrowings are on a trade basis. So each project that we undertake has a corresponding trade financing attached to it. There is no leverage that is drawing cash out of the company. So to quickly go over some IPO statistics that you may very well be aware of, the total IPO shares constitute 27.3% of the enlarged share capital. There is a small offer for sale, of which that only represents 2% of the overall share capital. We have different segments of shares that are being allocated out to the public, to the eligible employees, directors, and personnel, to selected investors, and also to Bumiputra investors. Key thing again to reiterate is that our founders, who are our directors, remain in majority ownership and remain committed to our business going forward. You can see that they own more than 70% of the business post-IPO. And then lastly, just looking at the IPO proceeds, it's really important to note that, again, the commitment for the longevity of the business and scaling for that global growth, we are putting roughly 44 to 45% of the proceeds into CapEx. So this is taking advantage of additional CNC machines, robotic equipment, automation, and really driving towards that Smart Factory 4.0 principles. We already have some of these machines already in action, but we want to make this investment and really drive this transformation of our business. You can see that the proceeds are also being used for product development. So this is R&D and innovation. So we'll talk a little bit about what that means later. And then business expansion, so intensifying our sales efforts and our marketing efforts, making us more well-known on a global stage, and then also participating in exhibitions. So we recently exhibited at a mining conference in Kazakhstan, Central Asia, and this was an important opportunity for us to meet the right stakeholders and the right operators within those businesses, within those industries, so that we can start to expand our offerings there. And then you can see as well, the IPO proceeds are used for the expenses relating to the listing. And then there's the remainder used for working capital to allow us to take on much larger projects more aggressively. So to put this into perspective and to think about the context of the global filter press and hermetic filter industry, the industry has been growing at 14% year on year since 2019. Going forward for the next few years, we see growth of about 10.8%. And this is really driven by these long-term growth trends. So growing global population, changing consumption trends from having increased incomes, and in urbanization as well. So for example, with more industrialization, increased output, and growing population in an urban setting, that greatly increases the demand for clean water and also water use for cooling, particularly such as data centers. This is an important trend that we are able to participate in by supplying our filters into these kinds of end user industry. Also important to note the overall trend of sustainability and how organizations and countries are looking to achieve their sustainability goals. Sustainable fuels, the policy, the regulation around that is very important. And that's where we are hoping to support the delivery of those goals as well. Now, you've seen that our spare parts business, our technical support services, is about 15% as of today. We are continuing to grow and invest our efforts into supporting those customers with after sales. And actually, our install base continues to grow over the years. So this becomes a very natural opportunity for us. And then lastly, the technological upgrades. So being able to upgrade our existing filters helps improve the performance for our customers. And then lastly, just wanting to highlight around mining, there's increased demand for construction materials, industrial minerals, but also minerals for semiconductors and electronic products. So again, the electronic products that we're very used to today, the trends around electric vehicles, semiconductor processing in these parts of the world, it's very critical, and we want to be able to support our customers in those kinds of projects. So how are we going to get there? How are we going to continue growing in these industries? Our order book today is at 70% as of May. Sorry, 70 million as of May. And we're looking to realize this over the next 9 to 12 months. And these are orders that are coming from our 3 divisions, business divisions, across the end user industries that you've seen in our historical figures. We're actively tendering for projects across these end user industries, and we're confident that these will convert into an order book size that we'll be very happy with. So this highlights some of the capex, and there's much more detail in the prospectus itself. But the overall intention and the principles behind this is to reduce our material wastage, so being much more efficient with our raw materials, reducing our reliance on manpower, so actually being able to produce quicker, produce with more consistency, and be able to deliver a much larger quantity of filters at the quality that our customers know we have and expect from us. It also allows us to reduce outsourcing because we can perform a lot more manufacturing in-house, and actually this allows us to deliver faster as well. So all of these reductions will lead to improvements in profit margins as we can turn around projects more quickly. We are also expanding our capabilities abroad. So expanding our filter leaf production lines in the Netherlands office. And actually that, again, supports the work that we're doing to support customers with our technical support services outside of the Asia region. So overall, this CapEx is about really streamlining our operations, taking advantage of modern technologies, and really being able to grow our capability and scale our capacity to take advantage of how we're accelerating in these other regions. And these are some of the product innovations that you can see. So customization, being able to do that, providing modular filter designs, further improving our replacement parts and taking advantage of those proprietary designs to give better performance, being able to offer important process engineering differentiators around filtration test centers, upgrading laboratories, and also making sure we have the right expertise of specialists to assist our customers. These R&D initiatives are critical, and they're very much underway as we speak. You can see we continue to think about ourselves on an international scale globally, and that's why we are participating in many conferences in person as exhibitors, and also growing our online presence. So to sum up the investment highlights, as an investor, try thinking of PMI as a unique opportunity to participate in a homegrown Malaysian proxy with a link to the diversified growth trends of global mining, water, and sustainable fuel industries. Our founders are our directors and remain hands-on, and they have the vision and the leadership experience to deepen the existing global presence that we have. We own our subsidiaries, we have our PMI offices abroad. We are well established and we have the right foundation to accelerate that and be able to capture more from the market. You can see that our filtration solutions are used across many different industries, industrial products, and also products that you'd see day to day. This is important as it diversifies where we continue to support our customers, and it allows us to participate in those growth trends as well that you are also aware of. Now, there are new innovations and new product designs that we are looking to deliver, and that growth, as well as the technical support services that we offer to our customers as upgrades and as maintenance, allows us to generate that recurring revenue that provides that baseline to the business, in addition to the project work that we get for the other solutions. And then lastly, our 0.5% current share of the total market is just the beginning, and we're confident that we're able to capture a much larger share of the overall market, justifying our valuation today. And lastly, as an investor in Pan Merchant Berhad, we want to maintain that long-term relationship with our investors, and we are proud to announce that we have a dividend policy where not less than 30% of our PAT NCI will be distributed to shareholders. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We're keen to move towards Q&A.
Okay. Thanks, Darren, for just now the presentation for us to understand more about PMI. Okay. Are you guys ready for the Q&A section?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. For the first question is, what is the current production capacity utilization rate across the Jelabang and Berhad plants? Are the plans to further expand capacity after IPO?
Well, actually, our production capacity utilization is we do not have a value to it, yeah, because the production of our equipment is not a conveyor system. Basically, our production is from components, yeah, from various sections of the filters, and then we have to assemble them. So basically, we can concurrently be producing various projects at any one point in time. It's only at the final stages of assembly and the finalization of assembly and testing, factory acceptance testing point that the whole filter will be fully assembled. Yeah. So the capacity is a very flexible. We can produce the filters in a flexible manner. Yeah. So post IPO, the only expansion in capacity where we are going to look at is the production of our filter leaves, which is a replacement part of our filters. That is the only thing we are doing after expansion in terms of post IPO for that. I hope it gives you an idea what how our production works. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, so by investing into CNC, CNC machines, robotics, the automation, we have sizable facilities at the moment that allows us to be more productive with them, and so that's also something to consider, right? And that's where you can see majority of the capex is going to.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, they're asking for the global competitor. How do your PMI filter technology compare to global competitor in terms of efficiency, lifespan, and customization?
I think for this, since we have been supplying filters to this industry for the past 30 over years, it is a proven fact that we are able to compete on a global basis, especially now. Our filters, of course, have to be very efficient and reliable because the plants are normally running 24 hours a day, 330 days a year. So reliability is the word, actually. So we have been proven to be a reliable supplier, and our filters are reliably very reliable on that basis. So lifespan and all that is the filter has a long lifespan itself, but wear and tear parts needs to be changed on a regular basis. These are wear and tear parts like the filter cloths and membranes and some of the components which have lifetime. Customization is like I say, almost every filter we build is different from the last one, because these filters are all customized to individual customers' requirements and their plant capacities. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Among your domestic and international market, which specific country or region are currently driving the stronger export growth? What is your point of view for this?
So I think to start this one off, at least, you can see that we have a substantial amount of revenue coming from Indonesia, and that's been very stable and steady. And so we continue to see that performance, and we expect to see that performance in the coming years. But I think what's interesting to note is that we are currently tendering for, we're currently expanding into other end user industries, particularly water, sustainable fuel, mining. And actually, you can see that the value of those projects can be substantial. And we are confident, we are optimistic of those particular sectors actually regionally in Asia, but also close to home, where we are hoping to support the customers in those industries. So, I think it's very much a watch this space as it may not always be Indonesia being our main export market, and such a significant proportion of our export.
Okay. Okay, asking for a major customer just now, you also mentioned, how do you maintain a strong relationship over 25 years with long-term customer like Alfa Laval, and how do you mitigate the earning concentration risk with this major customer?
Yeah, because since we have been so long already together, we are so-called a preferred supplier, a preferred vendor, and working closely with them over the years, it's like it's become like a very strong partnership with them and other customers of ours. We have quite a few very long customer working relationship, and on that basis, like I say, we have continuously been proving ourselves to be reliable and efficient and competitive. That's why all these customers have stuck with us for so long.
Okay, also for your good quality and reputation.
Mm.
Okay, for the next question, are your filtration system customized design per customer production line, or they are modular and scalable across the food verticals? Like just now you mentioned you like customize for each customer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have
Right.
any on to add on?
We have.
Do you have anything to add?
So I think, customer requirements vary very much across end user industries. So we've designed food grade explosion proof filters, which are very high spec for safety factor and also for operator safety. And then there are other industries where, within the food industry, it's always going to be very high spec, but there are other end user industries where they may not need such a expensive machine. So it's very much case by case. And I think for an investor to really understand, this is where each customer project is different, because the plant that they build is different, the supporting equipment is different, the layout is different, even the footprint and the ceiling height is different. So these are very specific details that are very difficult to come across in an IPO prospectus, but are very much a day-to-day consideration for any engineering project. And this is to the level of detail that we customize to for our customers and their projects.
Okay. Okay. What regulation or industrial trend are driving demand for the wastewater filtration in key export market?
Yeah, so when we talk about wastewater filtration, whether it's municipal or industrial waste, there is always the regulations by the Department of Environmental. And this happens to, in almost all countries. Yeah. So we cannot simply discharge this, we got to treat this, and we have to dewater the solids. And before further processing, then they are allowed to discharge this water. So this regulation has been there all this while, and I think lately it is getting more stringent, and people are actually investing in dewatering equipment such as filter presses.
And from this question, which market demand like high for this product?
Sorry?
Which market demand for this?
Which export market?
Which export? Oh,
Yeah.
Currently, basically a local market, and for export is within the Asia Pacific region.
Okay. Oh, okay. Are you targeting market with tightening wastewater discharge standard as a key growth area? I think just now you already mentioned it.
It has always been there, the regulations.
All right. Okay. How do you handle changes in raw material price, and do you have any hedging policy for the currency fluctuations?
Yes, for raw materials, what we normally do if once we acquire large projects in our order books, we will normally purchase these raw materials in order to reduce our risk on fluctuations on raw mat prices. For example, steel materials or stainless steel materials that we need for our manufacturing. Yeah. And as far as currencies is concerned, we sell in US dollars and we also sell in euros. So basically, we have a natural hedging because some of our purchases are also in foreign currencies. So with the natural hedging, we actually have we are not so affected by currency fluctuations.
Okay, quite good. Okay, asking for the import tariff and logistic. What portion of margin is impacted by overseas logistic and import tariff? And how do you mitigate the currency and geopolitical risk?
Yeah, I think with regards to the import tariffs, you're talking about, I believe you're talking about the US tariffs, yeah. I think we are not so badly affected in that sense because because predominantly we compete with our European peers, yeah. As of now, Europe is having a tariff of 20%. Malaysia is 24%, and the net difference is actually 4%. So if we are importing our filters into US, the difference is actually 4% between us and our peers. But I think I've already explained the currency part earlier on, and I do not foresee any real impact on our business going into the United States.
Okay. For the next question. Oh, okay. Who are your primary competitor in food grade and industry filtration in Europe, North America, and Asia? How do you differentiate yourself? Mostly asking about your peers.
Our competitors in Europe are basically European companies. Companies like Andritz and Filtration Group and all that. In North America, we also compete with American producers. And for Asia, we have some local competitors, but they are much smaller than they're way smaller, you know. But their product line is much less.
Okay.
Oh.
And okay, are your filtration system designed to enable recovery or reuse of byproduct like recover oil biomass from the food processing?
So we have provided filters in the past for these kinds of processes, and I think this is very much in line with sustainability trends and trying to reduce the amount of waste or volumes of waste streams in many industrial processes. We have been involved in projects with biomass and actually creating biomass fuel. We have provided filters for recovering calcium carbonate as well, actually, and being able to pull that from an output and actually being able to reuse that as an input into another industrial process. So yes, I think this is again where our process engineering expertise is important, and being able to have that discussion with the customer on what is their outcome, what is their objective, and really what are the specifications, their particular performance requirements. So yes, we do that.
Okay. Okay, asking for your contract value size. What is the largest value of contract you can take based on your current workforce?
I think this is actually a question that we need to look at what types of filters are we producing again. Yeah, so it's again the type of filters that we need to produce for that particular contract. It would be it's basically there's really not much of a limit, and we can even go up to hundreds of millions value if we talk about current values. As I explained earlier just now, our production processes, especially if post IPO with new automations and robotics and so on, this will definitely reduce our production time and we'll be able to increase our production capacities as well. So this is a question that is actually quite difficult to answer. It has to be in a certain context of the contract that we are talking about. Yeah.
Okay. And for this question, like usually just now you mentioned you based on PO, right? After you receive your PO, and then average, how long do you like send out all your product?
Yeah, for example, if you talk about filter press, it would need at least a minimum of 9 months to a year for a filter press. For the hermetics, they're not typically around 9 months. Yeah. 8 to 9 months.
Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. This question, okay, just now your slide also mentioned about the CAGR of 19.9% of the global filter press and hermet filter market between 2021 2024, but premature revenue grow at CAGR of 10.3% over the same period. Could you share with us on the factor contribution on this gap in growth, and also what is your target for the next few years?
How did we get them?
I don't remember 19.3.
I don't remember 19.3. How really at 19?
The slide.
No.
According to the IMR in the prospectus.
I think is that because the period has been shortened between 2021 to 2024. I think the CAGR from 2019 onwards was not 19%. But I think firstly to the company's anticipation for its revenue growth, I think I'll let our CFO discuss that. In terms of the gap in growth, I think we sorry.
Different time zone. I think different time periods and different numbers.
So I think what we've seen is that we continue to have that. We've had that stability in edible oils, and we want to make sure, and we have made sure that we maintained that leadership in that market, and that's why we had started over those years, which you have seen in our historical figures, of how we started to participate in these other end user industries, and then going forward, we look to participate more in those end user industries. So I think it's very difficult to say, right? Like for like, why didn't the company grow exactly as the overall market? Because in fact, the market includes other end user industries that we did not participate in.
Yeah,
or nearly as much.
And also other type of filters.
So you can see as yes,
it is not only filter press.
So there's other filters that are used in the market that are not the kinds of filters that we offer. So I think it's not exactly a like for like, but I understand the question. But I think that's really where the management has gained that expertise from doing those initial projects, and we're able to now deploy that experience and doing that more at scale. So I think going forward, we hope and we're optimistic to see that being more like for like with the industry overall. And then I guess for estimate of the company revenue growth over the following years, I'll let Natalie, our CFO, respond on that.
Yeah, that's what the number is.
I'll let Natalie respond on the revenue growth expected for the company, just to give an estimate or how to answer that one.
Which one? Can we answer?
I think, well, so I think, again, we're a bit nervous in giving an exact figure, given that it's not in the IPO prospectus. But, you know, we wouldn't expect our CAGR to drop below what, or at least below what we've currently been able to achieve. I think with the influx of the IPO proceeds and then the plans, execution of the plans that we have in place, you know, we hope to accelerate this.
Okay, quite clear. Thank you. Okay. Infiltration revenue has trended down over the past 3 years. And could you share with it, like, what's the reason and what is the outlook? Also, what is the pre-tax profit margin for this division? Do you have this info?
I think the filtration revenue, that looking at it from year 2021 up to 2024, there's a very high increase in the year 2022 because we have an increase in our convex filters that exported to US market for our sustainable fuel industry. So from that particular contract for that year that we awarded in the year 2021 over to 2022, that particular project is quite
it's a very huge project. And I think to add on to that, I think the Ukraine war came in the year 2022. Some of these projects were actually put on hold for a while. And talking about coming back to these projects, they are being brought back by our customers at the end of last year. And we are now looking at this in this part of the industry to be coming back and to grow again. Yeah. So we will see this section coming in as part of our growth numbers for this year onwards.
Okay. Okay. Just now you mentioned about the product development in mining. Are you already seeing new project or opportunity emerging in the near term?
Yeah, we have always been selling filters into the mining application. Okay, but typically around locally and neighboring countries. Okay, and these are not very big filters. Some of them are actually pilot plants before they actually invest into larger plants. So as recent as 2-3 weeks ago, we actually commissioned 4 filters actually, yeah, for rare earth. So these are very good applications that we will work on. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. They're asking, why do you listing on this time, your purpose?
So I think, look, this is always an interesting question, right? I think the business has been expanding organically and growing organically over time. Our Netherlands office was established in 2017, and we had the right partners there to work with us locally to cover the European market. And we saw a good contribution from that part of the business. And we saw a business model that allowed us to work with a local partner to understand local market relationships. Our business also opened the US office, which really came online really last year. And actually that's just replicating the product, the market fit that we had and the model that we used in the Netherlands. We've done that now in the USA. You can see from our financial profile over the years, it's been prudent, it's been very organic. We've never taken on this kind of financing structuring or financing strategy, but by having this significant influx of proceeds, this allows us to invest CapEx in a much larger scale at once. So this allows us to really transform the business rather than buying a piece at a time and transforming a piece at a time. This allows us to accelerate that timeline. These are all things, the business is very much running, still running day to day, still serving customers, still taking on projects. You can see the way that we finance our projects as well as conservative. It's on a very much project by project basis. So there is no situation where the company is over levered or we have a problem with cash production. It's just very much about thinking about the growth and how we can do this in a strategic way, raising the profile of the company, taking advantage of our growing presence in these external offices. You'll be able to see from the IPO prospectus how we want to grow our future plans, and there's a lot more detail in the prospectus.
Is it you're talking about the question why we IPO?
Yes.
I think to add on to it, I think we believe the time is right now because first, we have a very strong financial position. We have a proven track record of 38 years. And there's a growing demand for filtration solutions. And listing on Bursa Malaysia will definitely enhance our corporate profile. It will provide access for us to capital funding for our expansion plans. And we hope to strengthen the trust we have with our stakeholders and our clients as we scale our business further. So that's the reason why we want to IPO as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any replacement cycle for your products? And if not, what will be your strategy to continue expanding further? Yeah.
Well, basically, if you look at the filters, both hermetics and also the filter presses, certain components has got to be replaced. Okay, especially the filter media. The filter media is actually a wear and tear parts. For example, in the hermetic filters, you have all these filter leaves. These leaves are actually made of stainless steel, and they typically last 1 year to 1.5 years. And if you look at the filter press, you are talking about the filter media. Typically, you are looking at between 6 to 12 months, kind of depending on the application as well. So yes, there are actually quite a fair bit of replacement for these products.
Okay, different product got different timing.
Yeah. I'm just quoting one filter media, but there are a lot more because if you look at the hydraulic systems, these are all running on high pressure. Yeah, and of course you have seals, gaskets, and so on. Yeah, all these are subjected to wear and tear.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any plan to enter new country beyond your current footprint, or are you planning to focus on just your existing market for now?
So I think there's always opportunities around the world. We have local projects that we are interested in participating in, and we continue to focus our efforts here, taking advantage of our reputation and our existing relationships. Of course, there are new countries that we want to expand into, which follow the mining industry. So Australia is one of them. Central Asia is where we started to look at. So these are all on the horizon, and it very much just follows the cycle and the growth prospects of our end user industries that we've already identified. So I think as an investor, if you want to kind of follow those trends, we very much want to leverage our existing sales network, our existing infrastructure to be part of that.
Okay. Can you break down your revenue mix and how much of it is recurring compared with one-off?
Yeah, our recurring business is approximately 15% of our revenue currently, and we are plans to grow this to a higher number with double digits numbers in the years to come. Yeah.
I mean, for more detail, you can see that revenue breakdown in the IPO prospectus. It also breaks it down by geography, by the divisions that we discussed earlier, and also at a high level across industry. So definitely more detail in the prospectus for you here. Thanks, Adeline.
Okay. Just now you mentioned the recurring revenue is 1515.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right. I think we answered all of the questions tonight, quite a lot. Okay. Okay. Before we end for the webinar tonight, to Mrs. and Mr. Wong and Natalia and Darren, do you have any closing remark for our investor?
You want to say something?
So I think just thank you for joining us this evening. You know, our solid liquid filtration industry is quite a interesting and niche industry. So someone asked, can buy or not? I cannot offer investment advice, but you know, we are optimistic for the future, and we're very much keen for shareholders and for partners in the future to join us on this journey. So I think you know, you've seen the passion, the expertise, and sincerity that we've got. So you know, we're very keen to take this forward and excited for the journey ahead. So thank you for your time, and we thank you for your support.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Wong. Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Wong. And thank you, Natalia. And thank you, Darren, for tonight presentation for us to understand the PMI. And once again, congrats on your upcoming listing on the ACE market on 26th of June.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah.